Hi everybody, it's Sarah Cray with Let's Make Art, and today we are painting our watercolor calendar for May.
Oh,
Ah! We are doing some gorgeous cherry blossoms.
love it.
I will say that this color palette right now has me in a hold that I hope it never lets go of because I just want to paint everything this color. I started it. This was inspired by the April digital project that we have going on right now, which is this.
Oh yeah, the bee.
Spring Bee, and like how opera pink and cobalt blue and Hansa yellow just kind of work together to create these really vibrant colors. I was not ready to let go of that. So for May, I thought it'd be lovely if we just did this very loose, wet on wet cherry blossom painting. There's no outline with this painting, but don't stress because trees and branches and flowers come in all different shapes and directions. So like, don't even stress about that.
You almost can't mess it up.
You can't mess it up. Okay, if you guys don't know, we do a watercolor calendar. They're dateless. They're made out of watercolor paper, so you can paint on them. You can paint them for yourself. You can give them as a gift. They're super fun. You can find them on our website. And every month we get together and paint a little spread. So we're going to be doing this project in 4 steps. Our very first step is we're going to paint our background. Our second step is we're going to put in some pink and like our flowers. Our third step is we're going to put in branches. And then our fourth step is just finishing touches. Okay?
Sounds great.
All right. Now, before we get started, make sure that your hole is at the top of your calendar, or else you will be painting upside down and it will be devastating. So, hole at the top, okay? Now, let's do our oath. You can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
Promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
Promise to have fun.
All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to wet our paper using water and then do a cobalt blue background. That's it. So you can use a round brush, you can use a quill, whatever brush that you want. I will say if you can make it so your calendar can be like moved, that's great. Or like tape it down to a movable surface because I will be kind of like lifting and shifting it to help get an even wash. I'm picking up cobalt and I'm just horizontally brushing that in. And then you see how it gets kind of streaky?
Yes.
This is where we lift up our boards, go back to the side, to the other side, jump back. Just kidding. You know that song?
Yeah. Side to the
Do you
left.
get it? Do you get my joke?
You're so
Did you laugh at my joke?
so funny. Your teenager would be proud. Ella would love it.
No, I don't know. She's far funnier than I am, to be honest. Okay. And if there's like a slight value change, that's totally fine. Basically, we just want blue all over. And I'm actually going to do one more layer just because I want the top to be a little bit darker if I can help it. But if it's not, it's truly not the end of the world. So I laid in that color. Now I'm holding it down, allowing that color to kind of reach the rest of the painting. And then I'm going to put it to the side. And then I'm going to put it this way. And all of those streaks that I was worried about while I was painting have all of a sudden disappeared. Like magic. Okay, there's our gorgeous blue sky. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in our blossoms in our branch. I want a branch coming in this way and then a small one coming in this way. That's my choice in terms of composition. You are the artist. So if you would rather have branches coming in just from the bottom, go for it. Or maybe it's more like they're all coming in around, like you're laying down and looking up at all of these trees of cherry blossoms. Like totally, it's up to you. You can switch this composition easy, no problem. I'm going to take some opera pink and then I'm just going to start touching it in. And I'm going to say, are you kidding me? Opera pink, you are stunning. Now, notice that when the opera pink mixes with the cobalt, it leaves like a purpley color. I'm not opposed to that. I'm happy with that. Sometimes cherry blossoms can lean purple and sometimes they can lean peach. So if you want that peach look, you're going to go ahead and take opera pink, mix it with a little bit of Hansa yellow, and that's the color that you are going to drop in. Okay? The biggest thing is like, I just don't want you guys to be scared of messing this up. Maybe I'll do some brighter pink. And then kind of when I get to like the edge of the branch, wherever that is, I'm going to like go with smaller points because, and this is true for leaves or branches, it's always more dense the closer it gets to the trunk. And then as it gets to the very edge of the tree, that's where we're going to see baby little leaves, baby little flowers, and the ends of branches. So it's going to get a little bit smaller, more delicate.
I adore flowering trees so much. Do you remember when we lived in California, we had a mandarin and a lemon, and in the
Yes.
spring it just smelled so good
It
because
was,
the
and
flowers
they're
smelled good? Yeah.
gorgeous and I love them so much. Okay, so there's my left-hand branch. Then I'm going to have one coming in on the right. And I want to try and work quickly here because my paper is starting to dry a little bit and I really want the pink to just spread out. And then while it's wet like this, I'm actually going to take some bleed proof white. Now this is totally up to you. I wanted bleed proof white because there's different values on like these flowering trees. Sometimes the petals are actually white with bright pink centers. Sometimes they're more pink. Sometimes they're pink, dark purple. But either way, I wanted there to be some lighter values within this painting. So I'm just going to use bleed proof white. And again, this is fuzzing out. I'm not controlling every little mark. And I don't want to cover up all of the pink. It's more just kind of like letting there be some highlights. We're going to do, oh God, look at that. And then we're going to do some over here. And this is where you guys can decide your scale. As in, is this a close-up so these flowers are nice and big? Or is this more farther away so the flowers are tinier? It's completely up to you. But the shape, let's say, how do I say this? If you want your flowers to be bigger, you're going to have bigger chunks of white or bigger chunks of pink. If you want your flowers to seem tinier, then instead of doing like petal, 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 let me find a drier area to see if that says petal, 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 like that's one flower. Instead, it would be like, do, 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 and that's 5 flowers. You see the difference?
Yep.
And there's no wrong or right. It's totally up to you in terms of scale. How close up are we looking to these branches? How far away? If it's farther away, tiny little areas for the flowers. If it's close up, you're going to do bigger flowers. I can't decide. Should I do small or big?
I like the big ones.
Okay.
Seems more true to life.
And then here, I'm trying to think of how I can make, so this is like a nice thick edge, and I want it to kind of reach out a little bit further than that, like more delicately. So then I'm going to take some opera pink and I'm just going to add, and you can add later, like there's no problem with that. I'm going to have this kind of go out on its own. You see how I'm trying to create these like moments of smallness?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? You can also do this with like lilacs, actually. Have you guys seen like a lilac? I don't know if it's like a bush or a tree. I don't know. Listen, I'm not the plant person here, but they're stunning.
Yeah, they're so good.
And they're so full. And actually, this kind of technique would lend itself really well to doing lilacs. Okay, we are going to call that good for my bleed proof white. And then one thing that I can do that kind of helps dimension is I can take some stronger opera pink. And just in these areas that it's all one value, you see that pink, how it's all the same, like
Yeah, shade,
shade. That's not the, but like,
hue. I
no,
don't know.
value.
Value.
Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. I'm just going to break that up by doing dabs of darker pink in there. And when you have the combination of light value, which is our bleed proof white, of medium value, which is probably like these soft pinks, and then of the darker value, all of the sudden it takes form and feels like it has shape. So just kind of throughout. And you might be like, well, in what instance would I be seeing a darker value? You would be seeing a darker value on flowers that are behind the flowers in the foreground.
Mm.
So the foreground flowers, the ones that are closest to us, are going to be the lightest value. And then the ones that are maybe on the back side of the branch or behind all of that stuff are going to be darker values. Now, this is your painting, so if you want to add some green leaves in here, feel free to. I decided to leave them out. That, again, was an artistic choice. That doesn't mean it's the right choice. That just means it was the right choice for me. I love it so much. Can you even deal? Okay. Now we are going to want to dry this because we're going to put in our branches, and we do want our branches to stay
Crisp.
crisp. God, that's a good word, crisp. I'm like, not fuzzy. And I'm like, that's not a good description. If you don't have a heated craft tool, for the love,
For the love of watercolor.
get one of these babies. I spent years with that one. Listen, you don't need it. You really don't need it because water will just dry. But it really makes it so much faster. So if you're someone that's just like, I want to paint, but I really don't have that much time, get one of these guys. Can't live without it now. By the way, we sell them.
They're on our website. We sell them now. It's been quite a
We do.
journey, but we have them now.
We do have them now. Yeah, we were able to get some. And just so you guys know, if you have like a construction heat tool, not the same.
That will light
Don't
your
use
paper on
that.
fire.
You will create fires. Things will smoke. Ask me how I know that. Even this guy can actually get pretty hot. Like when I use my metal clips to hold things and I use my heated craft tool, when I go to touch my clips to move it, like right after, I'm like, ah. So just be careful. Okay. Now for our branches, I'm going to mix a brown. I like to mix Q burnt orange and black. If you have just the color brown, you can use that too. Q burnt orange and black. And then I'm going to think about the direction of these branches. So naturally it's coming in. I'm going to pretend like this is the thicker part and it's going out to the edge of the tree. And just following the natural shape of the wet on wet, I'm going to see where my side branches are going to go. So we have this main one, and then it kind of goes off here, 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 here. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing over here. Here's our main one, and then it comes out, comes out. So then in these areas where there's not a lot of white, I'm going to start putting the branches through it.
Ooh.
You see?
Mm-hmm. It went from pink clouds to definitely a branch.
Oh my gosh, clouds. What am I doing? I should have done a sky. I'm just kidding. This is really pretty too. And then if you want to have a couple that are like branches without flowers, that is also true to how we see things in nature. But isn't it funny how running something through it all of a sudden makes it feel like there's air through it?
Yeah.
You know, before it seemed like one kind of blob that was a structure. And when you run branches through something, it's like, oh no, there's light and there's air and there's space. Like you can just look at the difference between these two. Which one feels like you can go, like you can put your hands through things? This one does because of that branch.
Uh-huh.
And you might be wondering, well, why are we kind of working around the white elements? The reason why we're working around the white elements is because the white part of the flower is the thing that's closest to us, which means it's sticking out of the branch. So if our branch runs in front of it, then that is no longer the closest element to us. So that's why the branch needs to run behind it. But if you accidentally, like, come on, that's just that. Don't stress if you accidentally hit it in the white. It's just like a general rule you can follow. Okay, now this is where we're just going to do some finishing details, and it's completely up to you what that looks like. If you want to add centers, you can. Are cherry blossom centers yellow?
Probably.
Are they?
Let me look.
Look, why don't you look that up for us, Plant Michael? I have yellow on my brush poised and ready and waiting.
I listen, I'm gonna give it a I mean, yeah, they've got little yellow they're kinda like a darkish
Yellow
reddish yellow.
stamen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do. All right. So you can do yellow. Listen, this is your painting. You can do a bright yellow just because you like bright yellow. You can also do like an orange because it seems like they can lean a bit orange. You could do a pink because even the very centers of the petals themselves tend to be pink. And that's what you're seeing instead of the stamen. So you guys can decide. I'm going to do a little bit of pink. I mean, yellow.
Perfect.
Do
Listen,
that.
they probably change color too. Like we have field roses around our house, and the day that they bloom open, the little anthers on the tips are like bright yellow, and then by day two, they're kind of like a dark
Oh,
orange,
yeah, you're totally right. It probably has to do with
like flower age
flower age.
that pollen oxidizes and stuff.
I love field rose. Like field roses are probably one of my favorite flowers to paint.
Oh, they're so pretty too
They're
in real life,
so pretty.
and they're so abundant here. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Lovely.
Okay, isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Now, the very last thing that you can do if you want is you can do little buds. And usually the buds are the strongest color of the flower. So if your flower is white with hints of pink, it's going to be pink buds. If your flower is pink with dark pink, then the buds are going to be dark pink. Boop. And these can stay nice and like tight. And you can have them throughout too. Buds don't happen just on the very ends. They also happen throughout. Right here. And the very last thing that you can do is let's say you're like, well, I'm not convinced that these look like flowers, which honestly, I'm looking at mine and I'm like, these are flowers.
Right.
I don't feel the need to do this, but I just want to show you in case you're feeling. You can take your liner brush and actually outline a few of the flowers. So let's say I wanted this. I love that one so much, though. Let's not do that one. Let's
Okay.
do this one.
Okay.
I can shape the petals. So I can like draw petals around. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just showing that, yes, there are petals here. These are flowers. So you can just go in and shape a couple of these. And then that way, if somebody comes and looks, they're like, flower. Oh, these are flowers. You go, yeah, yeah, you got it. So that's just an option for you. And if you guys have the floral workbook, which was the first workbook we put out, I have a cherry blossom drawing. You guys could take that outline and put that on your calendar and do the same exact thing using this process if you really want it to be more realistic and have an outline or a drawing to go off of. Okay? Let's dry and untape it. And then we'll go through all of the things that we've painted so far this year.
Yes.
Can we pause for a second? And can you believe we're painting May?
No, I don't like it.
I Where is the time? I don't even understand.
There's like a saying or something. It's like the days are slow and the years are quick.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Especially the older you get. Okay, and the reason why I want to make sure this is nice and dry is it's going to help my paper stay flat. Now, outside of this tutorial, if I was not teaching this tutorial right now, I would not untape this right away. I would let this stay taped down for probably a day because even though my paper to the touch is dry, it actually takes a while for the whole thing to be fully dry. So if you can keep it taped down during that time, which is usually about 24 hours, then your paper is most likely going to dry more flat. If you untape it right after, then it's going to curl up and you'll see that.
Gotcha.
Now, when you remove tape, you want to be super gentle at the beginning. You want to pull away from the paper. And I've noticed that the only times I tend to tear is at the very beginning. So that's where I want to be the most gentle, kind of pulling away. And be careful around the hole too. That's also where it's going to want to tear a little bit. So you just want to be gentle. Go slowly. Go away from the paper or the painting.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Was it May that I painted on? Yes. You never got, it's always that
It's a nice
moment.
November
Yeah.
painting.
Okay, let's go through them all.
All right. Oh, I'm not prepared with good words, so I'm just gonna react with oohs and ahs.
Okay.
All right.
No,
All right. All right. I'll make
you
them
can
up.
come up with words.
I'll make them up as we go. I'm sorry for doubles. We're only in
Okay.
May. Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Uh-huh. Oh,
January.
joyous.
February.
Freakishly good.
Freakishly good is my new favorite compliment. March.
Magnificent.
Yes, magnificent. That's a good one. April.
Astounding.
Astounding. And May.
Magnifique.
Magnifique. Love it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys so much for painting with us. If you want to paint any of those projects, they're already up on our YouTube channel. You can paint with us. You can jump into these calendar projects at any time. So don't feel stressed. You're not behind, nothing like that. Just paint when you're ready. We're here ready for you whenever you are ready. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.